What's up, everyone? Star Wars Celebration is this week, so we thought we would just do kind of a casual conversation, a tips and tricks video. We've had a lot of people asking, what to expect, how to make the most of their time, how to have the most fun, lots of different questions. So we're just going to try to cover everything from our own experiences. We've only been to 2 celebrations, but yeah, that's what we're going to do today.
So we're experts.
Yeah, we are. I would not say we're experts, but we have done quite a few conventions. I think people are surprised sometimes when they hear we've only done 2 celebrations.
Yeah, just Orlando was the first one that we ever did. We drove down from Atlanta and changed our lives.
It really did. Honestly, this is like my favorite thing. It's my favorite time of year, or every 3 years or 2 or whatever they're going to do from now on.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have it back. But we want to start by just sharing our schedule, what we're going to be doing at Star Wars Celebration. So this is just a quick, where we will be, how to meet us if you want to do that. We want to try to be as approachable as possible. Mm-hmm. Also, we will be holding meetups. I know people were asking, because of COVID and the pandemic and everything, are we going to do that? Our plan is yes, we will be masked up. I'll say we aren't probably going to be shaking a lot of hands. Mm-hmm. We'll do an elbow bump. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, because it's like
elbow bump. I've seen people, kick their feet together. We'll figure something out.
But we also have swag to give out, so it's not like we're going to stand at a distance and throw pins at you.
Just toss them into the crowd.
Yeah, we'll take pictures with people and all that. I don't know. We're just going to play it by ear and see how it goes. But first, on our schedule on Thursday from 2 to 3, we will be on the podcast stage. Very excited about that. It's the first time we've been able to do this. So the 2 of us and Ken Knapsack and Joseph Scrimshaw from Force Center Podcast are going to talk about whatever happens at the live action panel and some other stuff.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
We're going to talk about how we like to celebrate Star Wars.
We do have a plan for something if for some crazy reason there isn't much to talk about after Thursday. We have plenty that we're still going to talk about. But yeah, that is 2 to 3 from on Thursday. And right after that, we will just hold a meetup so that we can all have a chance to say hello. So we'll probably do that around the podcast stage. I don't want to block the entrance or anything. So we'll probably move down the hall or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, typically, if it's like the Chicago Convention Center, the hallways are really big, and we can just move a couple of feet down so that we're not getting in the way with the next group trying to get into that stage.
Which the next group is our friends Nerdy Nightly. They're going to be covering the book Brotherhood as part of their book club podcast. So if you don't want to meet us, go to that, because they're great. But if you don't make it to our panel and want to meet us on Thursday, just go to near the podcast stage from 3 to 4. We will be there.
Yeah. And
then that's it for Thursday. So on Friday, Molly is on a panel from 1:30 to 2:30, celebrating Rey.
All about Rey.
So you can see her on stage. I'll be there too, but not on stage. I'll get to relax and just watch and listen. But then after that, we will probably do a quick meetup again. Mm-hmm. But also on Friday, we have a meetup scheduled at the Lego booth. They asked us to host something at their booth. And obviously we're big old Lego fans with our weekly streams and stuff. So yeah, from 5 to 6 on Friday, you can meet us there.
That'll be in
just the main convention hall. I don't think we have booth numbers yet.
Okay.
Or anything, which does lead me to something. We will update people if we have to move or anything. We will pin a tweet with our schedule, and if changes happen, we will tweet about it.
Yeah, Twitter and maybe Instagram, but mostly Twitter will be the best place to find out about any changes.
Yeah. And also on Friday is going to be busy. Friday night, we are doing the Star Wars night at Disneyland.
Very excited
about that. Yeah, I'm sure we will be spending a lot of our time at Galaxy's Edge, because Batu at night, it sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. We don't have any official reservations to do anything there. We're just going to be wandering around the park. So if you see us, say hi.
I'm going to be stalking Vi Marati and making sure the First Order doesn't catch her. I said the first time we went there, I saw her and I was like, Vi! And she was like, I'm supposed to be a spy, right? You're like, don't yell my name out. She just roasted me relentlessly, but I deserved it. And finally, we have on Saturday at 8, we are going to Mosh Isley. That is a ticketed event. I think it's sold out, but it's like a punk emo music night that is also Star Wars themed, which is right up our alley.
Yeah, you can go dressed up as your favorite Star Wars character, but make it emo.
Yeah.
So lots of black eyeliner, hair in the face.
I gotta think up something. You've got a good idea.
I have a good idea.
So those are all of kind of our, this is definitely where we are going to be at these times on these days. But also just want to extend the invitation. If you see us walking around on the floor, please come say hi. Like, don't.
Unless we're like at a top speed walk, which means we're probably late for something.
Yeah.
Chances are we're just wandering around looking at stuff.
Even then, like you're welcome to say hello. And worst case scenario, we say like we have to be somewhere. Walk and talk. Like we've done that before, but we've had people tell us after the fact that like they saw us and just didn't want to bother us or say hi. It's like we want to make ourselves available to say hi.
Yeah,
it's super fun.
If you know us from social media, and if you have like a different tag other than your name, make sure to tell us that because we might recognize you from Twitter.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is our schedule. So let's move on to some more just generalized advice. And we'll start with before we leave, packing. So
boy.
Yeah. You're the packing expert.
I'm not. I don't know about an expert.
Yeah, that's right. You're terrible at packing. You bring so much.
I went from an expert to terrible.
You're right. I mean, I was like, you're the person that packs a lot, so I guess I threw the term expert at you. But I'm the expert. I come with the bare minimum, and I have a lot of space left over to bring stuff home.
I can usually manage to pack a lot.
Yes.
In a single suitcase, but. We'll cover this a little bit later, but like we might bring just one empty suitcase to bring stuff back home in.
Might have to.
We'll see.
But yeah, what would you recommend packing?
Oh gosh, clothes, soap.
Maybe something not so obvious.
Yeah.
Although both of those things are important.
A couple of things specific to the convention and walking around and stuff. I always recommend people bring some kind of a tote bag or a backpack. Because you're going to be, especially if you're going to be buying stuff, your one side of your body will get a lot heavier than the other, so a backpack is nice for that. Poster tubes are great because if you buy art, you can put them in those, or, there's definitely a lot of chances to get free, like, little posters at different booths. So you might have your hands full with a bunch of, like, flat artwork or posters, and a poster tube will make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, I think both of the previous celebrations we have wound up scrambling to try to find poster tubes, which you can. I think there's a UPS store on site. I think there's a FedEx store on site. I don't know what their hours are, but bringing one is definitely a good idea. Mm-hmm. I'm always surprised at how many posters we wind up with coming back because, yeah, they just will throw them out. Mm-hmm. I just saw that there's going to be a Shadow of the Sith poster for that book that's on its way. Like, you can get that. A lot of times, if you're leaving one of the panels, they'll just be handing out posters. So you're probably going to get a poster.
Yeah.
I liked this one Molly suggested. Bring a Sharpie.
Yeah. If you're walking around and you see someone or meet someone that you might want to sign something, it's always good to have your own marker on hand. A lot of times other people, especially like authors and stuff, will have them because they'll be doing book signings. But if you happen to run into someone and they don't have one, it's good to have one of your own.
Let's see. For more just kind of obvious stuff, comfy shoes. You're going to be standing and walking constantly. Mm-hmm. So don't wear like flip-flops or just wear something that you're going to be okay with because no matter what you wear, your feet are probably going to be hurting by the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm sending out positive vibes to all the cosplayers that are wearing heels because I've done that. I don't care to do it again.
One of Molly's Dragon Con pro tips is to wear comfy shoes and just demand any pictures of her be taken from the ankle up.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got a water bottle, hand sanitizer, a power bank for your phone, and Molly wanted to make sure to put jacket on here because Molly has a good story about needing a jacket.
Well, so I'll start in Orlando. Obviously, it's hot in Florida, but that meant the convention center was like an ice box the entire time. So I was cold in every room there. And in Chicago, I thought it would be chilly. You know, it was April, but I wasn't prepared for snow or just how chilly it was. So I ended up having to buy a big Chewbacca zip-up coat at the convention center because I was freezing the whole time. So you probably won't have that issue in California, but if you get cold a lot like I do, bring a light jacket.
It was a pretty good coat, though.
Yeah.
And it looked good in the snow.
Yeah,
you looked like Chewie on Hoth. So we mentioned bringing a water bottle and hand sanitizer, stuff like that. I did want to say up top, just like take care of yourself, because if you don't on the early days, then you're going to be miserable on the later days.
Yeah, you don't want to burn yourself out too quick.
So yeah, make sure you're hydrating, make sure you're getting enough rest. I think those are the two big ones. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're giving yourself enough time to shower and stay hygienic and stay clean. I mean, with everything going on with COVID, mm-hmm. like we're all going to be extra careful. And speaking of, there's something on the website that it talks about how to get into Celebration the fastest. It's
called the Clear app or the Clear Health app. You can find it on most app stores. But basically, it's really cool. You just make an account. You like upload a photo of yourself. You scan your vaccination card or a negative test, one or the other or both, and it kind of keeps all that information in one place for you and gives you a QR code for the people at Celebration, letting you into the building. You can show them that, and that will quickly tell them that you have all of your bases covered for that stuff.
Yeah, so it's just a QR code that I guess when you're getting into the building and you're showing your badge and they might be checking bags and stuff, they'll probably scan your QR code, or you can, I bet there are other ways, like you can show them your vaccination card or whatever, but on the website they suggest using the Clear Health app mm-hmm. as the fastest way to get in, that they're probably ready to just like scan everyone as they're walking through. Yeah. Now we're going to move on to panels, and the first thing I wanted to say, speaking of, being overwhelmed and there being just too much to see, I would say don't stress too much about the panels, because missing a panel, even one you really, really want to go to, is not going to ruin your time. Mm-hmm. And we are speaking from experience here. We've told this story before, so I'll try not to spend too much time on it. But in 2017 in Orlando, this was before the lottery system existed, and you had to line up overnight to get into the big first panel of the day. So we spent the night waiting for the 40th anniversary panel for Star Wars on the concrete floor, not sleeping very well, and we waited all night and didn't get into the panel, even though they promised we were going to.
Yeah, I guess they miscounted or something happened when they finally opened the floodgates that morning, but there were just less than 10 people ahead of us when they cut the line, and they were like, sorry, we are at capacity now. And even though we had spent the night on the concrete floor and been told by the people in the building, like, everyone that's in here is getting into the panel, and so just rest assured. So we were like, yay, take a nap on the floor, wake up, oh no.
Yeah, so it was rough. It was literally the start to our first Star Wars celebration. We were upset. We went back to the hotel. We took a nap. We watched the panel from the hotel room. We were really sad that we weren't in the room with John Williams conducting an orchestra. That was all a bummer. And we were like, oh well, let's go back to the convention, try to have a good time. And we almost immediately forgot about all of that. Mm-hmm. And looking back now, I say this not to scare anyone, because we'll get into the lottery system and how you don't have to worry about waiting in line overnight anymore.
Yeah.
I say it not to scare people, but to say that we had the worst possible experience you could have to get into a panel. It was a panel we really wanted to go to, and it does not matter. Looking back now, we're like, oh, that sucked. But Star Wars Celebration is amazing. 2017 was amazing, and 2019 was better.
Yeah. The lottery system is truly a gift. It can definitely be frustrating to find out, oh, this is the one that you wanted to get into and you didn't get into it because of the lottery, but maybe you got into a different one that you didn't really want to go to. But just having that peace of mind and knowing whether or not you'll get into one allows you to kind of plan around those panels, and yeah, you can watch them from an overflow room or on the main floor or from your room.
Yeah.
Like, sleep in a little bit. It's great.
Yeah, like we did not get into the Rise of Skywalker panel in 2019. We watched that from an overflow room. It was still great. Like, it was still super fun being surrounded by people who were just into the information being delivered. I know some people do kind of miss the idea that I can guarantee that I'm going to be in that panel by spending the night on the floor. But yeah, I way prefer just being like, you know what? I did everything I can. Whatever happens, happens. And just not letting it dictate how my time is going to be.
They also told us in Orlando that we weren't allowed to bring any camping chairs or anything to sit on.
Air mattresses.
We got in there and people had inflatable couches and inflatable mattresses and whole camping tents.
We're getting off topic.
No, I laid my head down on my backpack and tried to sleep that way.
I don't think I slept at all that night.
Anyways.
But yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. It's the lottery system, which the way that works is if you have your badge, you can go, I'll put a link in the description. If you haven't done this yet, you just go into that link, choose the panels that you want to go to, and enter your badge number. And that's it. So the lottery system only works for the first panels of the day, the big ones. The Lucasfilm live action panel. There's one about ILM on Friday, the Mando panel on Saturday, and the Bad Batch on Sunday. Everything else does not have the lottery system. But for a lot of them, anything on the Galaxy stage and the Twin Suns stage, you can try to do a lightning lane pass, I think they call it. So every morning at 9 a.m., you can get onto the app, which I think is available now. Every morning at 9, you can get onto the app and say, I want to try to go to these panels. And it's like a daily lottery, I guess, that'll tell you whether or not you can go into the Twin Suns or the fan stage,
Those are the
Galaxy stage.
Overflow rooms, right?
Yeah, but they also have smaller panels in them.
Okay.
So like for the Tales of the Jedi panel, that one might be in the Celebration stage. There's a Star Wars Visions panel. I'm pretty sure that one's on the Twin Suns stage. So that one you can get in line for, or you can try to do the lightning lane for it as well. So yeah, everything else, I think you're going to have to do lines, but they don't do overnight lines. Trying to look and see if I have anything else for panels. I guess I would just say, set your plan, but allow yourself to be flexible. It's not all going to go to plan. Things are going to change. You'll be fine. You're still going to have a great time. Yeah.
And any other panels that you want to go to, smaller panels, ones that you don't need the lottery system for, or lightning lane stuff, you can go to that whatever room they're going to be in, maybe an hour, sometimes 2 hours before the thing's going to start, and just see if there's a line forming. Sometimes they won't let you guys start lines for panels until an hour right before. So keep that in mind. Just go check on the room and see if a line is forming so you know if you need to get in it.
I think I would also say that, some panels you'll be able to ask questions. So we could give you some tips on how to do that if you're going to go up to the microphone and ask the panelists a question. As someone who has really bungled that in the past, me, and also as someone who's been on panels at like DragonCon and has had to answer questions, I would say try to keep them short and sweet. Like, ask a question, don't say like, this is more of a statement than a question. Like, that happens all the time. And other people want to ask questions, so I always try to say like, keep it short and sweet, get in, get out. that's also coming just from my experience where I felt like I said exactly that. Like, I have like a statement and a question, and then like I just didn't have it ready in my mind. I knew basically what I wanted to say, and then I made myself look like a fool in front of the cast of Battlestar Galactica. So that's my advice, is like have something prepped, keep it short and sweet, and let someone else go.
Yeah. And, don't get, I say, try not to get too nervous. You'll be nervous waiting in line, most likely to speak just in a microphone in front of a lot of people. But, this might be your only chance to ask a question to whoever it is on the panel. So just go for it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Also don't let yourself be controlled by fear. Go ask your question. But don't do it the way I did it. I also wanted to point out, some people asked, like, how can we best follow along with Celebration if we're not going? And the Star Wars show in the past, at least the past 2 times, has streamed a lot of stuff. They usually stream the big panels every morning on the YouTube channel, and then they will have people come up on the stage and do interviews, and they'll do a bunch of fun stuff on the Star Wars show stage.
Yeah.
I expect they will still be doing that. That's probably the best way to follow along and get the best out of town Celebration experience.
Yeah, you can set alerts on their YouTube channel so that it'll send you an alert to your phone when they're doing a live stream. And you can also set alerts on Twitter, because they'll be tweeting about a lot of the new like book announcements, comics, merchandise, all that kind of stuff. They'll be covering all that on their Twitter. So if you set up notifications there, you can follow along.
And you can subscribe to Star Wars Explained, who will be covering everything as best we can, at least all the major stuff. But I do want to point out that, we didn't go to Celebration 2015 or 2016. And man, I had so much fun following along, especially for 2016. Like watching the Star Wars Rebels panel when they revealed Thrawn, and getting to see that along with everyone that was in the room, and not even hearing what was happening in the trailer because everyone in the room was screaming so loud. Like, I just got chills thinking about it again. That's one of my favorite fan experiences, and I was watching it from home. So like, I don't know, don't be too sad if that's how you were enjoying Celebration, because CouchCon is still a blast.
Yeah, you can throw a little CouchCon with your friends at home. Bring snacks. It'll be fun.
I think next I want to talk about, I guess, photo ops and autographs, since we talked about asking questions to people. And we have a fun story about that as well that is relevant because it has to do with Katie Sackhoff. So first I would say, don't go overboard, because unless that's like super, super how you want to spend your time is photo ops and autographs. Like if that's just what you love collecting, then great. I, in the past, have tried to do just one a year. And it was for Garrick Hagon, Biggs, and for Donald Faison. And then I did one with you for Sarah Michelle Gellar.
And Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes. So the lines can be really, really long.
Yeah.
Not so much for Garrick Hagon, but for... although that's a tip, is if your favorite character is someone like Biggs Darklighter, you can go and talk to him for a long time. Like I had a great conversation with him. But like Donald Faison, that line took a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, if you book too many of those, that might just be your entire day is waiting in line for those. And if you do book multiple ones, make sure you see what the timing is going to be like, and a lot, I don't know, what would you say, hour, 2 hours?
I would say 2.
To maybe more than 2 hours to wait in line for something like that.
I mean, I did my photo op and my autograph session with him back to back, and that might have taken more than 2 hours. It was a long line for the photos, and it was a long line for autographs. So obviously it depends on who you're going to talk to, but I would say that if you want the photo, great, but if you want to talk to the person, the autograph line is better. Like, then you will actually get to have a little bit of a back and forth. The photo line is like, let's keep this moving. They push you on through.
It's very fast. When we did the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr., I think I squeaked out happy belated birthday, because her birthday had just happened a day or two before that. And she said thanks. We took the picture, and they were like, okay, next.
Off you go.
I was like, but, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's a long line, so I get it.
Yeah, so like the same thing with Donald Faison. I was in and out with the picture. He was super nice, but then when I went to the autograph, like, we actually got to talk, and that was great. Like, I didn't spend a long time there, maybe a minute, but that still felt like, oh man, we just had a good interaction. And I did say this takes a long time, but if it's the right person, it's worth it. That picture is still my phone lock screen. I treasure that picture. Yeah, and the time I met Sarah Michelle Gellar, I was like, there's no other time that I think that I'll be able to do this, because she was there for her role in Rebels, and I just got lucky because she doesn't do a lot of like other conventions for Buffy related stuff. So I was like, now's my chance. Yeah, and that was great too. If they had Timothy Oliphant this year, then I would be doing a photo op / autograph, but no dice, so I'm actually skipping it this year. But what I wanted to talk about was the Katie Sackhoff thing. So I would say that when you're getting in line, it's kind of the same way as like asking a question at a panel. I don't know, but maybe not, because we tried to prepare something to talk to Katie Sackhoff about at DragonCon, like back before she was live action Bo-Katan. I think she was in the Clone Wars at that point, but we love Battlestar, and we were waiting in line and preparing what we were going to say, and we had agreed, and then we got up there and we were just like, hey. Hi. And we were like, thank you, bye, and then we walked off, and then we were arguing about how neither of us said anything. Sometimes you just get starstruck, and I'm sure they're used to that, and it is what it is. Yeah, but I've never once had a bad interaction at one of those things. Like, everyone they know what they're in for. They're there to meet fans, so they're very nice. Like, try to keep that in your head. This is all advice for like past Molly and Alex. It's like, don't be an idiot when you ask that question at the panel, and be cooler around Katie Sackhoff. Try to just be cool. Just be cool. Easy. Easy peasy. Everyone just be cool. Let's talk about the showroom floor. This is where I think things can be like really overwhelming. Yeah. Just because there's so much to do. So many booths, so much stuff to look at. You can easily spend a lot of money, so pace yourself. But honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do, is just to walk around and look at all the stuff and talk to people. Yeah, so I wanted to point out the tattoo pavilion. I think that's something that some people forget is there, but you can just kind of go and look at tattoo art. You can get a tattoo if you want. From what I understand, if you want to get a tattoo, like if you want to go for like a walk-up appointment and get something small, something pre-drawn, you have to go straight there in the morning, and they will make a list of people and then tell you when to come back. And that's just for like a small pre-drawn thing. If you want something specific, you would need to go to the Celebration website, find an artist, email them, explaining like what you want, and see if they have any free time to do that, to book you. Let's see. I wanted to bring up the Artist Alley. That's something you can already, again, look online and see some of the art and artists that will be there, but there's so much cool stuff to look at. It's another place where you can get prints that you'll need that poster tube for. One of my favorite booths to go to is the Del Rey booth. Yeah, because a lot of times you'll see authors there signing books. I will never forget the time that we saw Timothy Zahn at his booth signing books, and someone literally brought an entire suitcase of his books, like hardcover books, for him to sign, and he was totally fine to do it, and he was like even impressed about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, you can just go and bring 100 books for someone to sign. Don't do that, but within reason.
Yeah, it was impressive.
But it's just cool to meet the authors. I really like doing that. Obviously, the Lego booth will be neat. Reminder that we'll be there. But also, I hope they have some cool stuff to show off.
Their booth at Chicago was really cool. They had an area with like a little table set up as kind of a stage where they had speakers and like a few chairs you could sit in. But then they had all the special Lego sets set out so you could look at them. And it was just a really, really cool booth.
I should say that I have no idea what their booth is going to look like this year. But reminder, we'll be there. Meet up Friday at 5. There's the Celebration store, which is another thing you can use Lightning Lane for, because that's another line that can get really, really long. Mm-hmm. But this is like every year I'm like, I don't need merch. And then they'll put something like this out in 2019. I'm like, well, I need that. And this year they've put so much stuff on the website that I'm like, I want that Wrecker's Gym shirt. Mm-hmm. I want the Max Rebo band shirt. There's a lot of shirts. The Dex's Diner like staff shirt, the Dex's Diner neon sign,
the mug. So many cool things in the Celebration store.
I was genuinely upset with how much stuff I wanted. I was upset with myself.
Make sure you have room in your suitcase for everything that you plan on purchasing. Yeah.
That's another story. Our friends at Force Center Kin was talking about how Joseph Scrimshaw would come back every night with more action figures, and he'd be like, I'm going to have to start dumping clothes. I can't go home. Yep. But I have to have my action figures. Someone asked if there was anywhere to sit and relax on the showroom floor. We don't know exactly what the showroom floor is going to look like, but there is a quiet room somewhere.
Yeah. Typically, there aren't a lot of places to sit down unless there is a specific spot where they're serving food or beverages, in which case they'll have like little pocket areas with seating. But for the most part, that room is going to be full of people walking and, moving and grooving. So if it gets too crowded and people like sit down on the floor, a lot of times they'll kind of like shoo you away.
But in the past, there has been like a dedicated quiet room. If you're like, I just need to go sit or lie down or get away from all this noise, you can do that. Yeah. Next up, let's talk about after hours or offsite events. There are always a ton of fun things to do when the convention floor is closed and panels are over. I'm going to put a link in the description to a Google Doc that shares like everything going on, a ton of different events, whether they're ticketed or just podcast meetups that are going on throughout the whole weekend, so you can choose things that you want to do. I've had some people asking about the 501st Bash, which is a super fun party that we went to in 2017 and 2019. Mm-hmm. It is happening this year, I believe, on Thursday
in the Marriott. Tickets are pretty pricey. It's like $110, but I did see today that it is open bar, you get hors d'oeuvres, and you get into the Lightspeed lane for the Celebration store on Thursday.
Oh, that's cool.
So all right. Get quite a few perks, and they're always a ton of fun. You don't have to be a member of any of those groups to go, like the 501st or the
Rebel Legion or Mando Mercs.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. But yeah, if you want to go to that, that's in the Marriott, one of the Marriott ballrooms.
Let's see, there's those podcast meetups I mentioned. I know Pink Milk is doing one on Thursday. Steel Wars is doing one on Saturday. Again, pretty much everything that you would need to know is in that Google Doc. Mm-hmm. And then you can find some meetups, not just after hours, but also during the convention. It's more just like a list of unofficial things that are still going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's quite a few meetups that are happening just outside of the building too, and a lot of like cosplayer meetups. I know there is a group of High Republic cosplayers getting together for a meetup. So if you have a cosplay, you can look on that Google Doc and see if there's a group that you fit into that you can do a big picture with.
The last thing we wanted to bring up is someone asked what not to do at Star Wars Celebration. Is there anything that we did in the past that we wouldn't do again? And honestly, I'm kind of struggling to think of anything.
Yeah, there's not anything super specific that I'm like, definitely don't do this.
The only thing I would have said not to do is spend the night on the concrete floor, but you can't do that anymore anyway. So
Yeah.
that's my one regret.
Yeah. I don't know, you can get handed a lot of things walking around the convention, like pins and flyers and postcards and stuff. If you're finding yourself carrying too many things, it's okay to say no to some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to take everyone's flyer.
Yeah, if you don't want a sticker from us, if we're trying to hand you one, it's okay to say no thanks.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, that's a good point, because like you wind up with just a bunch of swag from like a lot of the different booths and stuff, and you might not want all of it. Molly told me I should not worry about making content all weekend. I'll try not to do that.
Which, it sounds a little hypocritical coming from us, but if you
you were telling me not to do that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to make content while we're there, but just don't worry about it too much. But for other people, if you guys are content creators, decide ahead of time if you're going to cover the convention itself. And if you're kind of iffy on it, if this is your first celebration, don't worry about making content until, after it's all kind of done and over with, because it can be really, really stressful if you're trying to cover all the news and make content and enjoy the convention at the same time.
Yeah, I would say make content you're excited to make. Don't force yourself to cover every little thing. We're not going to. My plan is to probably cover the Thursday morning panel, the Friday morning, or no, the Thursday, the Saturday, and the Sunday morning panel, and then maybe some of the other stuff. But I'm trying to not let myself get too bogged down. But I honestly don't have anything from past years, like events that I've gone to or panels that I've done where I'm like, well, I would never do that again.
Yeah. I
don't really have anything to say, like, definitely don't do this. So I guess that's it. That's going to bring us finally to the end of this video. If you're going to Star Wars Celebration, we can't wait to meet you and hang out with you and celebrate Star Wars with all of you. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.